So you're interested in a role at Bloom. Well, thanks for being here, and it's really nice. And my intention for this video was to just have a bit more of an informal chat, because often I have people reach out and they have questions about the role, but also about what the team's like, things like that. And so I thought often a barrier for a lot of people is the unknown. And so how can I make this space less unknown and answer some of the frequently asked questions? So I thought I'd begin with a little bit just about what a day in the life of a therapist at Bloom looks like. We have an incredible intake and client engagement manager here at Bloom called Britt, and Britt manages all of our payments. She follows up with clients, she does all of our bookings, she helps us prep documents, she even puts together anything that we need support with in terms of like GP letters. Sometimes she'll help create the draft so that we can then just go in and edit them and then send them off. Obviously we read them and things, but she can do a lot of that prep work behind the scenes. So we're quite supported in our role at Bloom, and there isn't a huge admin burden. We also use AI, assistive technology, with note-taking, with the consent of our clients. So that's another thing that really alleviates the administration load that can often be associated with private practice. And in terms of our client load, we see a maximum of 5 people a day. If you're a new graduate, that would be less, but yeah, typically speaking, we see 5 people a day, and our day is structured a little bit different than some other private practices. I'm going to have a little chat about that. So our hours, like I said, are different, and we do work a diverse range of hours. So Mondays we tend to work 10 till 5:15, 5:30, and then Tuesdays the same, Thursdays the same, Friday's the same. There is some flexibility on a Monday, Friday for an earlier start at 9 instead of the 10, but on Wednesdays we start at 12:45 and we finish at 7:30. Now I know these hours don't suit everybody. That's just what we've landed on in terms of we've trialed lots of different things and we've found what works for our clients, and these are just the hours that are working for us at the moment in terms of being able to offer flexibility for clients, especially who are traveling to our service. And then we've also found it creates a really good work-life balance for us, because it means that we're able to see our professionals in our lives, so like doctors, appointments, going to the post office, those kinds of things, do our own appointments, and still be able to show up for work. I know that these hours aren't going to work for everyone, which is again why I wanted to include it in this introduction video about Bloom, to help you decide if we might be the right workplace for you. In terms of what support looks like, again, we do things a little differently, and we have a really big focus on supervision, because a lot of the clients that we do see have an element of trauma presentation or are neurodivergent, and so there are some complexities. We do require more regular supervision and consultation. And so what that looks like is we have a senior therapist on the team named Patty, and Patty provides all of the internal supervision to staff, so that I'm not providing direct line supervision unless that's something that staff specifically request. So I'm certainly available for it, but something I was really keen to have is that the person who's employing you, me, is not the person who's the solely providing supervision and consultation, so that you feel safe to actually use the space for what it's designed for. So that's why Patty's in that role. But I also provide organisational supervision, and which is probably around once every 6 weeks to a couple of months, just depending on where you're at in terms of stage of being at Bloom. At the beginning though, it's very regular, it's weekly. Same with Patty. However, because I'm also an EMDR consultant, I also provide in-house consultation for our EMDR therapists as well. And again, this is flexible. So some people choose to have consultation with me more frequently and see Patty less frequently, and vice versa. It really is quite customizable based on the person, what their caseload looks like, and what they're finding beneficial at that time. And it's fluid, so it changes as well. We also pay for external group supervision as well. We come together with an EMDR consultant who's also an accredited mental health social worker, and they provide us with external supervision as a whole group, and that's facilitated by them. They have lots of experience working with diverse range of client groups as well, so they bring a really wealth of knowledge to the sessions. Another common question we get asked is about leave and PD because as therapists I find that we're all really passionate, hopefully, about the work that we're doing, which means that we love learning and we love being able to extend ourselves and extend our knowledge, and that means often larger PD wishes each year. So we do provide a PD budget which is dependent based on your FTE, how many hours in the week that you're working, but generally it's around the $1,000 mark prorated, and then we also provide 1 week prorated study leave, which is paid as well. So that's in addition to the budget for PD. You're also welcome to do additional PD, but that you would essentially take annual unpaid leave for that. The other thing on leave is that any trainings, workshops, things that I undertake or provide, that you get them for free, so they don't come out of your training or PD budget. And last but not least is a little bit about our team. My motto is that we spend often more time at work than we do at home with the people that we love or the animals that we love. And so I really want this space to be something that feels beneficial for everyone. So it's not just about the work that we do with clients, which, I know for most of us that is the big draw card, that we love the work that we do. But I also want people to be able to have the ripple experience of enjoying their work also happen within their team environment as well, which is why we're so passionate about finding the right fit for our team, because we've had experiences of when it hasn't worked and when we haven't had the right fit in the team, and so I feel really protective about that space being intentionally created. So on our team, as I mentioned before, we have Britt, who's in the role of intake and client engagement practitioner. We also have Paddy, who I mentioned before, who's our senior therapist. She's also located interstate, so all of the services she provides are online. However, she comes down a couple of times a year, so that we're able to meet all together as a team. We also have Bakara, who's a social worker who is working towards her mental health accreditation, and we also have Kelly, who's a general psychologist who works primarily in the space with adults. Bakara works with children, and then myself. So if you feel like you might be the right fit for our small team, we'd really love to hear from you. The things that we're looking for from an applicant are someone who is neuroaffirming, and I guess I just want to break down the affirming word because sometimes people, when we've interviewed them, they've said, oh yeah, I don't mind what you are. I don't mind if you're queer, I don't mind if you are disabled, I don't mind. And so at Bloom, something that we feel really passionate about is not just about acceptance, but about affirmation. So affirming that person's identity, not just accepting it, because accepting it feels like the first foundational level, but we want to go that next step. We really want to welcome and actively be working to affirm someone's identity. And so identity affirming is, yes, neuroaffirming, but it's also queer affirming, it's also like size affirming. It is really thinking about all of the intersections, the intersectionality that we're often working with, but sometimes is less overt, and we're really wanting to bring the covert into the overt space and be really clear and intentional about how we are being affirming in those spaces. So hopefully this video has helped you understand a little bit more about us as a team, as a business, and the work that we do, and also what you would expect in terms of in the day in the life of a therapist at Bloom. If you have any other questions, you're also more than welcome to reach out for a phone call. And hope to hear from you soon. Take care.